Hi, Pearls, and welcome back to the channel. And to all of our new subscribers, welcome. We're so glad to have you here. If you are interested in any information or conversations about marriage, relationships, dating, you name it, anything that has to do with marriage and relationships, this is the channel for you. My husband and I do a marriage series. We get into it. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We hope to keep you here, and just thank you for joining our channel, our family. So if any of you have been following, the Instagram, the Lenas Pearls Instagram, Facebook group and page, this week I have been constantly talking about dating purpose and having your dating purpose and your standards and what have you. So I felt that it was best if I came on here and went over a little bit more detail on, how to prepare your dating purpose for after quarantine. I know that with, COVID-19 and the coronavirus and everything that's going, well, they're both one and the same, that's going on right now. We're social distancing, even though some states are slowly opening, most of us still have to pretty much stay at home. There's still curfews in effect, so forth and so on. So I'm being posed with the question of, okay, why is this key now? I can't go nowhere. I can't date. And some of us, unfortunately, are stuck in relationships that we pretty much are riding out right now. And there are going to be some changes in some households after the coronavirus, unfortunately, after this, the quarantine. So I wanted to give you a brief overview of why now is the time. So you know me, I got notes because this is something that's very serious. I'm very serious about you having the dating life that you truly desire and deserve, and having the life overall that you want and deserve, or having what you do or do not want in your life. So why is now such a good time? Well, first and foremost, you're home. You're home. This is the time. So like I said, I got my trusty notes here so I can go over a lot of these in detail because, as I was saying, your dating purpose is imperative. Your standards are imperative to you having the life that you want and don't want. So, and this is about you. This is the time now that we're quarantined that you just have time to focus. And if you're an essential worker, my prayers and thoughts and positive vibes and love are definitely reflected onto you. I'm sending you all of that. But also, in this time, essential or not, this is really the time for you. This is time for a lot of us are doing a lot of self-reflection and assessment that we don't even know. We're not even aware of that's what we're doing. So that's why it's imperative to set these standards and start to break these things down now while you have the time, because it is time. You have, most of us, non-essential, especially, you have nothing but the time. If you're in a bad relationship right now and you're thinking like, what am I supposed to do after I break this off, or what's my next step? This is the time to start reflecting and going over and thinking of these things and focus, because now the world unfortunately has slowed down to the point where you have nothing. A lot of us, after the kids and education and all of that and schooling and the different day to day that the routine that we've actually established, in spite of everything that's going on right now, you need to dedicate some of this time of a world slowed down and that urgency being off of us and that rush, rat race and everything else being off of us. Now is the time to start doing an assessment on many areas of your life, especially your dating and your standards. So in preparing your dating purpose after quarantine is lifted, there's two key components of the preparation. The first one is that you need to have defined standards. So you hear me say this all the time: define your standards. I've constantly posted all week about this. I'm constantly talking about having defined standards. I went live on the 5 main reasons why it's beneficial to have a defined dating purpose, so forth and so on. Number one, your defined standards are based on you. They're not based on what you want in a person, or not from the start. They're based on who you are, the life that you created for yourself today. They have to be a focused collective based on you. Who am I? What do I want? What life have I designed for myself now? What would this person need to be able to bring into my life as it stands today, as the man, woman I am today? What do I need them to bring? And also, what characteristics do they need to possess to fit in and be a complement, and for me to also be able to compliment them, but for them to be a compliment into me, because your standards are your picture. They're based off of you and your needs. And that's what most people don't understand about standards, is that it's not all about they have to have this, they have to have that, and they have to look like this and that. No, your standards, the blueprint, the very first point that you need to hit when you're defining your standards is, who am I? Who am I? Who am I today? What is my life today? What do I need in my life today? What would be a help for me today? What would be an added bonus and complement to my life that I have created today? So that's the first thing. That's where many go wrong when they do define their standards. They automatically start going to a lot of superficial things. Number one, they're not even conscious. And we're going to get into that because that's like a whole, that's just something completely entirely different. But the second, number two about defining your standards is it requires self-reflection and self-assessment. You have, because they are about you, you need to know who you are. That's why they require self-reflection and assessment. Who am I? Well, that requires you to sit and think to yourself, who am I? What am I doing? What is my life like right now? What do I have going on in my life as of today? In this particular time of my life, what am I? So you need to do a lot of self-reflection and self-assessment to even answer the first part of defining your standards, which is, who you are and what do you need. The third part of it is, you notice I never said anything about physical. Because your standards, unfortunately, many of us, and this is where we mess up, and this is where we end up in these relationships where they're everything physically and nothing I need emotionally, mentally, financially, nothing. We don't even really get along outside the bedroom. This is why, because people are basing their standards solely on the physical. Your standards, your true defined standards, are not physically led. They're not. Now, yes, of course you want somebody that appeals to you. But when you start self-reflecting, you start doing what I said before, was as far as looking at who I am and what am I and what do I bring to the table and, what do I need brought to the table? It's not led by their physical traits. And you'll find that as you actually take this to heart. And remember, I don't know if you joined me when I did the 5-part series of the things I learned before I became a wife. I discussed the fact that self-reflection requires work. You have to do the work. You have to figure out what it is you are. And a lot of times you're answering questions that have answers that require work. So I can't say it enough. Your standards cannot be physically driven. And it does not mean, and it has nothing to do with being unattracted to the person, but you would be surprised in the packages of the person, of the packages that you open yourself up to when you start to look at your and define your standards based off of you as a person, what you're bringing, what you need, who you are, and self-reflecting. You'd be surprised that your number one is not what they look like. And you would be surprised at how many you will now open yourself to that would not fall into your typical, you'd be surprised your typical package does not have those things that you have then identified by doing 1 and 2. I'm just saying. Number 3 is that, well, 1, 2, 3. I think I'm on 3. It'll be correct down here. They're not, they will change. Your standards can and will change. Remember, you change. So your standards and wants and needs and desires and things of that sort, they're going to change. I am 44 years old. Okay. I am not the same woman I was when I met my husband 16 years ago. I'm not. I'm not that same person. And, one thing that people don't understand is that your wants, needs, and desires and self-reflection and all of this is still a continued habit that has to be taken on, even if you do get married. You're going to have to constantly still self-reflect, because your wants, needs, and desires and your purpose and your standards, they will shift, because now you went from the goal of getting married to now maintaining your marriage. And I did discuss that in that class. So I'm telling you, if you want a certain life for yourself, you have to take these things serious. You really, truly, honestly do. So that's just that. And that's also why I promote, you have to be a complete and total person before you get married. And in order to be a complete and total person, an independent individual that you want to merge your life with somebody, if that is your goal, then you actually have to do the self-assessment and the who am I answers. You have to learn yourself. You have to know who you are before you merge your life with somebody, because things do change. Things will shift. Okay. So, like I said, requires, and I say that all the time, self-reflection and assessment are consistent. They are a lifetime obligation to yourself. You have to constantly self-assess and reflect. Even in marriage, you're going to have times where you're going to ask yourself, what is wrong with me? What is going on? Why are we not getting along? Why is this happening? And it's going to require some work. So I'm telling you right now, once you begin self-assessing and reflecting, be ready to do the work. Because what I explained also in that class that I keep referring to, the 5 things that I learned before I became a wife, is that if you don't take the ownership to do the work, to see the change, because change requires work. And I said that in the blog post. Change requires work. If you're looking for change, you better be ready to do some work. Because what happens if you don't do the work, you will bury yourself under other tasks now that weren't even there because you've delayed yourself from doing the work. And now you got to, when you are finally ready to do the work, because you're now to the point of, okay, I need this to change, or I need something to shift, I'm ready to level up, or whatever it is. Now you got more levels and different things that you have to clear out of your way, and other hurdles now that you might have to climb, because you've allowed other things to pile on, and you should have done the work a long time ago. So I'm telling you, it's only beneficial to you. It is so key and so beneficial to you in your life, in all aspects of your life, to self-reflect, be present, and clearly identify, what do I need to do, because it's about you. So what do I need to do in order to see this change, in order to obtain, not even so much always a change, but what do I need to do to gravitate and bring what I want into my life, or repel what I don't want? And it does require work. So get ready to do the work. But also, to kind of go back, because I jumped ahead a little bit. The last one about it that I didn't discuss is your standards have to be present, conscious, and written down. They have to be, because when you write things down, you're almost breathing life into them. And relationships are living, I say this all the time, relationships are living, breathing entities. You are in your relationships, all of your relationships, your work relationship, all your relationships, every aspect of your life. You are a present, living, breathing being. Everything that you are involved in is you're a part of a life circle, a breathing, living thing. So it's not necessarily even a thing. It's an aspect. It's an extension of you as a person. So you cannot afford to allow your standards to be subconscious. You have to have them present. You have to be consciously aware of them, and you must, I implore you, I beg of you, write them down. And also, writing them down allows for you, when you do self-reflection and all of that, and you're doing the work, it allows you to go change and add and edit and things, because a lot of our standards are subconscious, because they were obtained when we were at other phases of our life, high school, first love, first boyfriend, first marriage, first. And we adopt on these standards of, well, because of this, I don't want to do this anymore. Because of this, I don't want that in my life anymore. And That's not even who you are. A lot of that isn't even relevant anymore. Those things in the past are not even relevant. That's why I said it has to be based on who you are today, what you want today, your life as it is today. And they have to be constantly looked at and revisited and written, and you have to be consciously aware. And that's why I say it's based on who you are today, because you are not, and it will change. You are not the person that you were back when. You aren't. None of us are. All of us change. All right. So now that you've gotten the 5 cores of defining your standards, then your dating purpose will be revealed. Your standards will reveal your dating purpose. And the dating purpose has different components in it as well. So, excuse me for looking down at my notes. You know how I am. So your dating purpose, there's no rules. That's why it's your dating purpose. It's what you want in your life. There is no right or wrong. Also, the second one that I'm going to go right into with that is, it does not necessarily mean, so first and foremost, there's no right or wrong. No one can judge you about your dating purpose and what you've defined it to be and what you've concluded it to be. That's number one. The second part of your dating purpose is, it does not necessarily mean that your purpose is to get married. Remember, it is who I am today. What do I want today? What life have I created for myself today? Right? So today, marriage may not be on the menu. That may not be the goal. It may never be the goal, because you're going to constantly self-reflect and self-assess and do the work. So you may find that next year, a couple years, you may actually come to the conclusion that marriage is not for me. If you're being honest with yourself and you're doing the honest work. Okay. For example, your dating purpose may be currently that you just want somebody exclusive to just share your life and your the good times with, your birthday, so forth and so on. You just want one exclusive sexual partner. Your dating purpose might be, as of today, I just want to date freely. I want several sexual partners and they can go do their thing. It could just be right now I want companionship. Somebody I just want to talk to. Somebody that I just want to be able to spend some time with, maybe cuddle up with, maybe talk on the phone with, maybe go out to eat with, just hang out with, just to have another person to talk to. And, I don't want anything serious, and I don't care if they have anything serious, or if they're looking for, maybe they have somebody, maybe, that they're interested in, or whatever the case, you don't, I don't care what they're doing. As long as with me, we're just friends, we're hanging, whatever. And, you have to actually be upfront with that. But my point is, there's all types of purposes for dating. You just need to identify your purpose for dating. Okay. And another part of that is that it keeps you focused. It keeps you focused and it avoids your wasted time, especially after the quarantine. Because I'm going to tell you right now, life will not be the same after this quarantine is over. Everybody knows this. And if you don't, I'm telling you now, afterwards lifted and we go back to some form of normalcy, people are not going to be able to afford to waste their time. A lot of us are going to be back out here trying to find work, back out here trying to get these bills back under control and save our homes and so forth and so on. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. And once the crest of us getting into some type of a normal routine, the values are going to change, and people are not going to be able to afford or even want to waste their time, and you shouldn't. So that's why dating a dating purpose is so very key, because it does. One of the benefits is, and I say this all the time, is that it keeps you from wasting your time. It keeps you focused. It keeps you firm on what it is you want in your life, especially as of today, the person you are today. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to free you up from wasting your time. Once you start identifying the way things are going, it's going to alleviate all of that foolishness, and you're going to cancel things that you probably would have previously allowed or, made allowances for, and was, let me see where this goes or what have you. I'm telling you. And a lot of people that are currently in relationships that they don't want to be in, that they're kind of now stuck because of the quarantine, because of this pandemic, That's going to give them a whole nother outlook too. Like, if this ever happens in life, in my lifetime again, I'm going to make sure that I'm holed up with who I want to be with and who I can at least stand most of the time. I mean, I laugh, but it is very serious. So yes, your dating purpose, once identified, will keep you focused, keep you from wasting your time and from wasting others' time as well. Okay, so the two things, just to recap, is you need to have your defined dating standards. You need to have your defined standards. And I give you the 5 key components of that, and that will then reveal your dating purpose. And I gave you the key components of that. I'm constantly talking about this because these two things, even before this ever happened, once I got serious about what I wanted in my life and figured out who I was and stopped dealing with all of the foolishness, my husband manifested, and he manifested pretty quick, honestly, but that's just my story. That's my path, because I don't play. I don't BS. I'm, so if you weren't on the path, it was like, okay, I'm done. I did not really have time to play games with people, and I didn't waste my time. I was focused on what I knew. I knew my purpose for dating was I wanted to merge my life and be married. I wanted a husband. I wanted someone to join my life with. I didn't want to date with benefits. I didn't want any of that. And there's nothing wrong with that either. Because if that's what it was, then that's what it would have been for me too. But when I did the work, I learned my dating purpose was to get married. And then I started to do the work. And I still, as a wife, reflect, and I go through everything I tell you to do. Trust and believe I do. And my husband actually does as well. So I know you guys have seen or heard, or by now especially if you follow me and follow Lenas Pearls, the book that I came out with that I just released, How to Date with Purpose, Your Purpose. Now, this is a book / journal / workbook. It's a quick little guide. It's not very big. And it pretty much is about 7 chapters long about, most of what I just went over today. And also what it does is it actually at the end here, if I can get to the page where it starts, it actually starts your journal. And then in the journal, I give you 20 questions and you date these. So that's another thing I wanted to show everybody, that this is dated. If I can get it around here. You put your name, you put your date. Well, it's your book, so you don't need to put your name. But my dating purpose as of this date. And then there's 20 questions that apply to if you're actively dating, not actively dating, what you want. They're keys to you. And these are your answers. These are your answers to answer to yourself, honestly. And by the end of these questions, you should have your dating purpose clearly defined. Okay. Also, if you need any information on, how your standards are too high and, why you need, to have realistic standards, you have to see the video that I posted, are my dating standards too high? I'll post a link somewhere around here for you guys to see that. So you can click on that and watch that, because that goes over in depth about having realistic, conscious standards as they relate to you today, so to help guide you to start having that conversation with yourself. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is a conversation about you to you. So you have no choice there. You have no reason to not be honest with yourself. All right. So How to Date with Purpose, Your Purpose, the book and journal. The ebook is available on the website, as well as if you want the physical. If you're someone like me that wants now the ebook, you can print out the pages. You don't have to print the whole book. You can just print out the actual journal part of it. If you download the ebook, and you can have it today for $25, or also on lenaspearls.com, which is where the book is. You can order an actual physical copy. This is what you'll get, a physical copy of the book. Or it's also on Amazon Kindle as well. But with Amazon, you can read the 7 chapters, but, I guess you can write down the questions and answer the questions if you don't want a physical book in your hand, or if you don't want to download the ebook and have it right away and just print out I can't talk today. Print out the pages for your journal portion of it and answer your questions. I can't wait to hear what you guys have come up with. I'm looking forward to you guys using this as your tool to help you start getting ready for after quarantine, to have the life that you want and focus and have the dating purpose that you want. As always, I'm here. I'm here if you need to talk about anything or what have you. You can always email me at april@lenaspearls.com. Don't forget to join the Facebook and Instagram, lenaspearls.com, or not lenaspearls.com, lenaspearls. Don't forget to do that. Join our Facebook and Instagram family. I post in there all the time. We have a great time. We go live. We really have fun in there as well. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And then don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you can be alerted every time I upload on the channel. I have a question for you guys to answer in the comments. Do you know your dating purpose? What is your dating purpose? Have you begun to do the work to learn, what my actual dating purpose is? I don't want you to feel bad about what your dating purpose is. You cannot be apologetic for the life that you want, and it changes. Today it might just be, I don't want nobody. I'm healing from a heartbreak. I don't want to be bothered. To maybe next month or what have you, after quarantine is up, maybe you'll decide, you know what, I would like somebody exclusive. I just don't want to get married right now. It's your life. Design it your way and utilize the journal portion of the book to create and design your purpose for dating, your dating purpose. Remember, it's your story. Okay. So that's pretty much it for today. Ran a little bit long, but I really wanted to get into every detail of this. I'm preaching it all the time. I'm teaching it all the time. So I figured you needed to have some kind of guide on what it actually means to have a dating purpose and why your standards have to be aligned. And I do pray that you guys find what you truly want and seek, and you're ready to go after quarantine. You're ready to get out here and get back in the scene and, have some kind of a blueprint and now some focus and staying firm in what you do and do not want in your life. That's it, guys. Until next time, take care and be blessed.